Okay, if you had to bring one star back from Europe to the NWSL, who would it be?
I would say Lindsay Moran Heaps.
Okay. Where would you want her to play?
I would too.
Let's go to Chicago.
Lindsay Heaps can do a lot of things, but turn Chicago around, I don't know. What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to Sports Are Fun. I'm your host, Kelley O'Hara.
I'm the personality hire, BJ Beckwith.
I'm Greydy Diaz, aka Mid-Range Mommy.
And today we have a first on Sports Are Fun, a tandem, a duo sharing the couch. Shanna and Alana of Soccer Girl Probs, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. You're the first time that we've had two guest co-hosts. And so, but, you know, apparently you guys do most of your...
We interview as a team.
Okay,
We're
so
like stepbrothers.
yes.
We bring tuxedos. Yeah.
Okay, so sharing the mic is fine.
Totally fine.
Okay, perfect. So we all did our little intros. Do you guys have an intro?
Alana, go first.
All right, I'm Alana, ready to run a fitness test at any moment.
Oh,
Wow.
really? Is
Stay
that
ready.
true?
Maybe.
Or okay, yeah, you're like, it doesn't matter, I'll do it.
Yeah, I
Might
will.
not
I
be
won't
good-
be great at
okay,
it, but
yeah,
it'll
you're not
happen.
saying, you might not
I'm game.
pass,
Yeah.
but okay, that's good.
Oh,
Way to stay-
man. Okay,
you don't
pressure.
you don't got to get ready if you stay ready. You know, I
That's
appreciate
true.
that. Yeah.
And I'm Shannon. I might have a baby on set. Okay. Would this be your first on-set baby?
That would definitely be
Right.
right.
Honorary
But
auntie.
you know
Four
what?
people.
Yeah, we
Four
got
people on the couch.
I
First and last show's
Listen,
over.
everybody. BJ will Google what we got to do. You know, we have him fact check.
ChatGPT. How do you deliver a baby?
Oh my god.
Wait, before we start though, you guys, I want to say Happy Pride Month.
Yes!
Wait. Specifically, Happy Pride Month to Kelly because a listener DM'd me yesterday and shared me a fun little memory. Kelly, Abby Wambach, and Cindy LaRue on the U.S. national team a couple years ago. And it's been
This is a
checking
couple
out.
years ago. This was 10 years
This is a
ago.
long time.
All right, you know what? I was being generous. But it's y'all checking out a coach of another team.
Wow, Kelly. Do you remember this?
She remembers
Walk
it.
us through this
It's
moment.
locked in there.
I do actually.
And for those who are listening, it's literally a series of gifs of Abby, Kelly, and Cindy LaRue, and the coach walks by and they're like, she's kind of hot. Like, they're full, like dogs are barking.
I did look up the
don't
coach after. Yeah,
she
after,
hot?
yeah.
No, also I shared this with everyone. I was like, let's ambush Kelly with this.
You are. Oh my god. I've seen this before pop up on the socials, and I didn't.
What you're saying.
I didn't remember this happening, but then when it came up again, obviously this did happen, and I do think that is what we were saying.
Can confirm.
I'm gonna have to call Abby after this to confirm, but yeah.
You don't need to call anyone because your lips
The
are
lip
saying
readers- the lip
exactly
readers are
those
saying
words.
Whatever. I'm giving her props. Good for her.
Do you think
know,
Abby
work it,
remembers this moment?
If she saw the video, probably. But oh my god, she's also got a little
funny.
nose pick on that, getting caught doing that. Oh man. Okay, well, yeah. Happy
The
Pride.
person who tweeted it was like, never forget, #Happy Pride.
Okay.
So shout out to that
Wow, that
listener.
is my first ambush on air here. That's incredible. Good for you. Good journalistic work.
Thanks so much.
Well, we have a amazing week to catch up on. We got U.S. Women's National Team win over China on the weekend. Happenings in the WNBA keeps on rolling. Some teams keep on winning. Some teams keep on losing. And we also got to talk about Women's College World Series. This is bonkers. I can't wait to get into it. I've never really paid that much attention to it before. I'm late to the party, I know, but like it's been incredible. But first, because we have Soccer Girl Probs here, we are going to get all the soccer takes to start off the podcast. And we're going to start with Women's National Team winning 3-0 against China on Saturday. They won with goals from Kat Macario, Sam Coffey, and Lindsay Heaps, not Haran. I'm starting to get that right. It's not like a major tournament year, so this is just a friendly. Curious, anybody have initial thoughts from this game, this win?
It's very fun to see the unpredictability watching them play. Like I feel like over the years we've just seen the style that the U.S. plays in, and you expect where certain players are going to be. I'm watching and I'm like, the creativity and just how unpredictable they are. Like I would not want to mark those three forwards at all.
Yeah. for sure. You think just from the forward line or in general?
The whole thing, yeah. Like even
At one point, Michelle Cooper was in the back line playing as a center back because there was like a change in possession. She got caught out or was kind of lower on the field. Sonnet's pushing her, like telling her to go back and play center back while she's coming back down to get into position. So I agree. I think that it's very clear Emma's building the team or laying the foundation in a way that everybody understands what their total shape and the picture should look like at any point during the game, not just like where they specifically should be, which I think is like a really important part of the evolution of the team.
I was truly listening for the announcers to be saying who was sent the through ball. Like it was happening so fast where I was like, where'd that ball just develop from the back from? It was just, it's really cool to see.
Love that.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. I
Yeah,
feel like
you guys are enjoying it?
The player pool is like, it's so deep now. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I know like she wants to have an idea on the team by June. So
I know.
Like, I don't know.
I want to know, I'm like, okay, this is news to me that she wants to know her core group of players by June, which it is June. So I assume this is kind of the last camp of maybe like getting in trial or seeing some players for the first time. But I also am like, one, how big of a core group are you wanting to have?
Yeah,
and then on top of that, you have some very key players that have been unavailable to you for majority since Olympics and also will be unavailable for a while, right? Triple espresso. We don't know when we'll get Trinity Rodman back, but we also know Mal Swanson and Sophia Smith are pregnant, so they won't be back for a while. But then Rose Lavelle hasn't been in since last year, and she's coming off of an injury, so need to get her back into the mix. So I was like surprised to see that she's building a core, like she wants to know her core group of players by now.
I mean, there's only about a dozen more like friendlies between now and 2027, which is not a lot.
True.
So I think it kind of makes sense to kind of start to identify who those core people are. And yeah.
I hate though when like we fall in love with the player and then like all of a sudden someone who was like a vet comes back from an injury and it just like wipes them right off. And I'm like, damn, like I feel like I was just starting to.
Is there anybody right now that you would say you're like falling in love with as a player?
Well, I love watching Lily Johannes play. Like I just like, I want to see more of her. I want to see more of Claire Hutton. Like I want her to get more opportunities because I just feel like those people are going to really surprise us. But you don't know. There's just so many. The pool just runs so deep that I do feel like there's so many injuries are just like our main opponent.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think kind of piggybacking off of that and talking about Lily Johannes and Claire Hutton, I think some people were kind of talking about, okay, we have Sam Coffey, we have Lindsay Heaps. Yeah. Lily Johannes, I expected to see her in that midfield, and we ended up seeing that. Is it safe to say, or could we say that like those three are for sure locks? Is there anybody else? Because in my opinion, I think that like Lindsay Heaps, Sam Coffey are locks for this midfield. I think Lily Johannes also a lock. I don't know if she's a starter yet. And I also think those three play similarly in terms of a slower build out, very methodical. I think Rose Lavelle coming back in will add a different like dimension to that midfield that we've kind of, I don't want to say missing, but I think we need that back in there. And then beyond there, I don't know the other two spots, like who I would give them to.
But also don't forget you have Jaden Shaw, and then you also have, if Triple Espresso comes back, I could also see Katarina Macario dropping back.
Yeah, no, it's true. So it's like, again, and I think that what I like is that she's building this team in a way that you could, like Kat's playing 9 right now, but she could play in a 10.
Yeah.
And
so can Jaden Shaw.
Right, yeah. No, that's a good point. How does anybody know how the 23s have done?
Yeah, they played one game against Germany and they won 2-0.
Did Jaden Shaw start in that game?
She started, and so did Mia Fischel, and so did Corbin. And Jaden Shaw assisted one of the goals.
Nice. Okay, good. That's great. They won 2-1, you said?
2-0.
Oh, 2-0. Cool. Okay, that's good. What do you guys think about midfielder like locks or what it's shaping up as?
I feel like it's such a good problem, but I think it's going to be a challenge for her to decide.
Right.
Like I agree. I feel like when Rose comes back, that will be like a tough decision.
Right. Yeah.
But then I'm like, did that midfield play so well together because they play similarly?
Good point. Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard when someone stylistically gets thrown in there and it's a little bit different.
But is that just that game and who they're playing?
I know.
Right. Yeah.
More
no.
games.
And speaking of that game, I mean, the beginning of the China game, they were putting them under pressure. Like Fallon gave the ball away. Like China's
was good.
player got the ball off of her. She was able to pounce on it. Thankfully, there were a couple. They were putting them under high pressure. They were playing a high line. But what I'm impressed about this team is that they're able to weather storms. Like they don't look rattled ever. Does anyone else feel that way?
Yes, I agree with you. Like I feel like in the past we've watched where I'm like, we're okay as long as like we're not under too much pressure, because then there's some crack is gonna form. We're gonna be exposed. But I feel like I didn't even really pay so much attention to like how well the defense was playing, because we just didn't have to, like the stress wasn't there, which is a nice problem to have.
I'm also impressed by, well, I guess I kind of just said this, like we weather storms and we don't seem rattled, but also we're willing to continue to play out of the back. Like even though the team is under pressure, even though the team is under pressure, they still will find, we're going to play out of the back. We're not just going to launch it long. And that's coming from the keeper. That's coming from the center backs. That's coming from anybody who's coming down. Like I am impressed by that style that Emma is requiring the back line, the midfield, even the keeper position to play.
And that is where I feel like you're seeing a little bit more of a European style of like not just counterattack and force it down their throats, but we're actually like sending smart balls, and it's going to be very interesting to see. But I feel like you're saying we need the rest of these games to play out, because China plays up super high in the back, and I want to see a team that maybe sits in a little bit deeper in the back. Like how do we play our forwards against a different styles?
And do you guys think for this game that out of the group that's there in camp, this was like the starting lineup? Like for if this group goes to a major world tournament championship game, this is the starting lineup? I do want to know Emily Fox was not playing.
Right.
Yeah.
The only change would be Fox would be in, and she rightfully so was getting a break after having an incredible win
With
of
Arsenal.
Champions League with
Yeah.
Arsenal. She like freaking won Champions League.
Came to camp
partied.
late.
Yeah, exactly. Came to camp late, and thankfully Emma was like, all right, you can have a night off.
I liked the like when she walked in and everyone applauded. Like,
Yeah,
that was cute.
I mean,
No, I know. She was like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, she probably got
Right
off
up to her room, right to
yeah.
bed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. All right. Well, we got Naomi Grima back. We're blessed.
She never left.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not. We all knew that. Like, she looked great. Got the captain's armband when Lindsay Heaps exited the field.
Killed it.
Thank you. And then we got a first cap for Lola Bonta.
Yay.
So exciting to see her in a U.S. shirt, finally. Very well deserved. I'm excited to see. I hope maybe she'll get the start against Jamaica on Tuesday. But
I will say there were a lot of subs, which was exciting.
yeah.
I don't think any of the subs were, and I don't think this is their fault. They were up 3-0 when all the subs made their appearances, and I just don't think they were able to really showcase themselves well. Not that they played bad, but I just don't think we saw the best of them.
Right. It's interesting when you get in these games where it's like it's a friendly, you're up 3-0. At this point, China's kind of like, all right, we're just holding
We're done,
on.
yeah.
Like, we're not really going to show or like really open up to give any sort of advantage to you.
China wasn't attacking anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
It's tough, but at the same time, like those players, when you get that opportunity, it does not matter who you're playing, what the score is, anything. Unless, when you are going in and you're told to say like, keep it 3-0, we're not looking to push, just keep possession, whatever, fair. But if you're not, like, you have to go in and make an impact. Doesn't matter what the scenario is at that present time on the field, right? Like, for instance, Olivia Moultrie, she got a cross from Emma Sears right after she got in, wasn't able to put it away. Like, those are moments that you have to capitalize on, in my opinion, as a player who's like, are you in, are you out? You have to take advantage of
That
those
was a
moments.
moment
Right.
that I would have loved to see her capitalize on.
Same, yeah. And you can see it on her face. She's like, that's like, it's
How many
tough.
opportunities am I going to get?
Exactly, exactly. So as much as it is a friendly, it is China, you are up 3-0. Like, those moments matter because Emma knows, like, if I sub you in, Moultrie, like, you will take advantage of those.
Yeah.
But so even from your perspective, like playing devil's advocate, to come in and just get your first touches like out of your system, like did that help you a lot? That to finally, because even like Lo said, she's like, I got my first pass. She's like, and then I was like, good, like that, like settled me in. So even if you don't, yes, you try to make the most and capitalize and make as much of a game changing impact that you can. But to be able to get those first touches out of your system and like settle in for people that are getting their first, second caps has to be like for them, just a great, all right, like I'm now a little bit more settled in.
I mean, even late in my career, when I would be checking in, I'm like, all right, just connect the first pass. Like, just do that, and then like get you. Because it is, as much as people think like starting is difficult and it has a different pressure to it, subbing on to the field is like another beast, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But, and then lastly, Fallon Tullis-Joyce got the nod for starting that game, which again, I think that Emma started her strongest 11. So I would say that right now she's sitting at the top of the depth chart. Anybody got thoughts on that?
We had her on the podcast like a while ago on ours, and just was such a well-rounded, just cool person. So we've always been fans of her as a human being. So it's really cool to see her getting her opportunity. I'm seeing a lot of criticism on people saying that like it's not just enough for her to make these crazy saves. It's like how she's going to make the save that's not going to result in, a rebound where they can finish or put another shot in. So I'm just seeing a lot of people being very hypercritical of her, but I think it's hard. She's had big shoes to fill.
Huge shoes to fill.
Yeah, so it's like, let her settle in, man.
Yeah, and I will say, I obviously knew her when she played over for Seattle, but she went over to Manchester United and sat out basically a year, like sat behind Mary Earps, who was the start at the time. She took over this past season. And in that time that she was on the bench, she was like, I'm learning. Like, I'm training every day. I'm learning. I'm getting connected with my back line. Like, I am waiting for my time. And when my time comes, I'm going to take it. And to me, I think just that mentality really shows the type of like player and person that she is. And I think that like that will pay dividends for her in this role, potentially as the US #1, right? Like, she's taking her time. She's getting in her reps. Like, she will be good enough and rise to the occasion, because she did when she got that put in that spot for Manchester United.
Yeah, second behind Mary Earps has got to be an incredible place to live.
Right.
Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody got thoughts on the forward line with Triple Espresso out for the foreseeable future?
Alyssa Thompson was coming to play, and so was Pat Macario.
Yeah, for
She
sure.
assisted on a goal.
Yeah, no, I think that like when it comes to the front line, it will be so. That's what I'm so interested about. Like, how do you?
And Michelle Cooper did well too.
She did great.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I was
actually, this was the best game I feel like she's played so far for the U.S. Yeah. But it is, I mean, as a forward, like, you gotta make the most of these moments.
I think this is where, like, if you're going into a world tournament, is when you're going to take Katarina Macario or Jaden Shaw, because they can play multiple positions. So I think if you are one of these people, then you got to try and diversify your portfolio some way or another.
You do, but not for a World Cup.
Not for World Cup, you don't think?
Because it's 23 players. In my opinion, you don't have to. For an Olympics, absolutely. If you're a versatile player, you're going to sit higher than a player that can only play one position. But for World Cup, you have 23 spots. Like, you can pick the best of the best in every position. It helps to be versatile, but like, I think that when it comes to World Cup, you don't.
And speaking of versatile, I wanted to throw this out there because I've seen a lot on socials, especially like our socials, and they wanted your opinion. Ali Sentnor, people were asking to try her out at a left back, right back position so she could try and stay on the field when Triple Espresso comes back.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm all for that. I hate to say it because I do love seeing her in that forward line, and I actually think she can like play the 10 pretty well too. But I think she would be a great player to try as an outside back. She's good on the ball, good in tight spaces, good under pressure, is fast. Like, this girl is fast. So I don't know in terms of her defensive capability, like 1v1, that might be what would be like maybe her biggest hole, but and then she would obviously easily and happily get forward. So I feel like she has like all the profile characteristics that you'd want out of an outside back.
There's something about forwards being pulled
Something
to defense,
about it.
but you literally know as a forward how you want to break down a defense. So then to be able to put yourself in the shoes of the defender and be like, this is how someone would try and break me down. Like, how am I going to defend against that? I think they've made some really smart defenders out of forwards.
So U.S. plays Jamaica tonight, Tuesday night, and it'll be good to see who Emma puts out on the field, what mix of players, how they fare against a very different team from China. But on top of that, and probably most importantly, Becky Sauerbrunn is getting honored in her retirement, as she should. I will probably be shedding tears. I don't want to talk about it. It's weird, but what an incredible player, person, teammate, everything. And she deserves all her flowers. So I hope that she gets.
Do you have a favorite Becky moment?
I have too many good Becky moments. Truly, like Becky was probably my favorite defender to play with, and probably the one that I played the most with. And this isn't a moment, but this is like a very Becky thing. The look that she would give. She wasn't super vocal, and like she was vocal in the sense of like telling people what to do, that sort of thing. But she didn't have to say much to get you to do, or like for you to understand what she was thinking. Because if you messed up, you were getting a look, and it was like the
Wait,
Becky
can you show
look.
us the look?
It's just this look of like, I can't even do it because it's like so it's so Becky. And like if you go back and watch her games, like in any close up they put of her, if there was a breakdown of defense or some sort of mess up, Becky was giving you a look, and you knew, and you said, "You're right," and like noted, and I'll be better, you know. But she didn't. But like that's the type of player she was, because people respected her so much. She didn't have to say anything. She just would look at you and you'd be like, "Got you. I'll be better," you know, because the level to which she held herself and she played was just like always up here. And so you knew if you're getting that look, like, okay, I gotta get on Becky's level today. But
Quite a look.
it is, yeah, a look that you never wanted to get. But
If you're Emma in this game against match against Jamaica, what changes would you make?
last camp, she basically went with, I think Sonnet had more. So Sonnet was the only person who started from, or there was maybe one other player that started the first Brazil game versus the second Brazil game. Sonnet had more caps than all of the other players on the field combined. So she very much so like was like, I'm going to start almost a completely different 11. And I think that she'll probably do something similar here. But Jamaica is a good team, and they pose a threat offensively, like with playing through. And so it'll be interesting to see like who she chooses to put out there and how they line up.
I would love to see Lo get a start.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
That would be cool.
Well, let's talk some fun things, and then Brissel, while we've got Soccer Girl Probs here. I'm gonna ask some questions of some interesting or like general storylines, and I want to hear your takes. So, San Diego Wave, are they true champion or shield contenders, or are they just hot early on the season?
The fact that this isn't just like their only season where they're doing well, they seem to be progressively building season after season. I do feel like there's a little, we can't call them a flash in the pan. I feel like there's some consistency. They're a little concrete. They're establishing their rep.
It's hard because the season's so long.
It's so long. I know.
I think when it comes to the Wave, it's more about like who they've brought in, the coaching change, and I agree. I think that they are like the real deal, or showing what they're showing now is what they will continue to show, and if not, just get better from here. Can the Chicago Stars be fixed?
They need to fix their offense. They need to fix their defense. They need to
They need
strengthen
to
their
fix
midfield.
their ownership group, which I don't know if that's going to get me in trouble for saying that, but that is where the problem lies.
Yeah, you
they
think?
don't want to spend money to make money. They literally,
Right.
So it's like, what's new star is like, I want to go to that team.
Listen, they're having that same problem in the WNBA.
Yeah.
You need the facilities, you need the money in order to compete.
Yeah. Well, they're not doing well, and can they be fixed? I think it'll take a full renovation, a gut renovation, if you will.
It would be really nice if they could win a game in June, take July to reset, and come back.
Get
a
one under
totally
their
different
belt.
team.
Yeah.
Go on a
There
good
you
team
go.
retreat and like figure things out.
But you know what I feel like too is, have you ever been on a team where like your team is not doing well that season, you're losing every season, and then like you just also don't feel good about anything else? Like even your moments of brilliance, or when something good happens, like that's not even being celebrated because everyone's just too concerned with the overall bad
Oh yeah, I think
vibe.
that's for sure
That's
what they're
how
probably
I
feeling.
Yes, so I feel like it's not even, probably doesn't even feel rewarding to be playing for that team when like the little moments and the little positivity moments, those aren't even being celebrated the way that they should be. So it's just like, it's just like contagious, the negative energy. You know?
Can they be fixed? TBD. Doesn't look likely. Might need.
At least they're in a good city.
yeah.
Chicago's great.
Listen, Chicago. It's about to be the best time of year there, so they have that to look forward to.
That's good.
Shout.
And the weather's on the up.
Yeah, exactly. Weather's on the up. Maybe their record is too. Who's winning MVP?
Again, I feel like it's so early, but I feel like Esther Gonzalez could be.
Let's go. I like that.
Over Banda's crazy, but okay.
Don't come for Greydy Diaz.
That's my team.
Okay, I can agree with that. Esther Gonzalez, great shout there. Who's the next big star to go to Europe?
Ooh,
You kind of already alluded to it.
I think I already
You
said.
do
I
think Trinity?
I think Trinity could be.
I think so too.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't.
I
think
mean,
so.
she's in Europe right now,
Yeah,
hanging
she is,
out.
Yeah.
Might like it too.
Not just hanging out, grinding.
And grinding.
Fixing her back.
Exactly. No, she is over there. But again, that's her getting back to where she needs to be and back on the field. So, okay, if you had to bring one star back from Europe to the NWSL, who would it be?
I would say Lindsay Horan Heaps.
Okay, where would you want her to play?
I would too.
I want it. Let's go to Chicago.
Chicago.
She ain't never coming back for
She
that.
would never.
She ain't never coming back to that.
She would literally be like, "Send me to the moon."
Yeah.
They would roll out the red carpet. Why not?
You think?
Absolutely.
What if she just came back and they just like did well?
Lindsay Heaps can do a lot of things, but turn Chicago around, I don't know.
I know. I like to see her back in the league. It would be fun to see her
yeah.
here.
I would too, because I think we need to silence the haters. I think there are a lot of people that are very harsh on their critique of her because they're not seeing her on the regular in the NWSL versus the players that they're the most familiar with. And then they just see her plucked in these moments in the U.S. Women's National Team games. And I just feel like I would love to see her come back and then just like make a statement.
Okay, I like that. I'm here for it.
What about you
I can
guys? Who
support
do you
that.
want to see back?
Karma.
Yeah,
For sure. I mean,
for sure. I want Germa to come back, but I think I want her to come back like Gotham or Spirit potentially. I don't know. I want to see her on the East Coast.
oh, Gotham would be cool.
Yeah, it'd be sick. Okay. I think that's it for our soccer portion.
Oh, that
Girlies,
was so much
thanks for
fun.
joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for
We
having us.
appreciate y'all coming on and sharing your soccer girl probs knowledge. Every business or show, like Sports Are Fun, starts with an idea. How can you go from daydreamer to industry leader? Amazon Business accelerates your journey. With smart business buying, get everything you need to grow in one familiar place, from office supplies to IT essentials and maintenance tools. Amazon Business takes the buying experience you know and love from Amazon, plus tools that help you save costs and make insights-based decisions. Ready to bring your vision to life? Learn how at amazonbusiness.com. We are back in it talking hoops now. It's the hoop section, WNBA. We are 7 games into the season so far. And right now, Liberty are dominating. And by dominating, I mean really dominating. They just came off of a win last night, a 48-point win.
That was crazy.
I was there, and
Yeah.
it was difficult to watch Connecticut struggle in the way that they did. Obviously, they have some good players, of course, but they didn't look good. And, you know, after the game, I stuck around a little bit, as I usually do, and I could hear some of the players, you know, just making comments on how they feel.
Sun players.
Sun players, you know, with their families. And I was like, yeah, this is going to be a long season. But, you know, I just kind of offered up some just, hey, like, continue to stick with it. And just, I mean, it's a bunch of players who haven't really played together.
Right.
So they just have to stick through it or stick with it and just hope for the best.
Yeah. It seems like they're on a tough
They are.
road right now, all things
But-
considered.
As you said, the Liberty have a great start, and it's actually their best start since 1997.
Whoa.
Which they also went
based-
7-0.
Based on being
Based
7-0?
on 7-0.
Oh, they haven't done that since 1997?
Yeah, which is crazy. And 1997 is when the league first started. So,
Whoa.
yeah, so
Cool
pretty,
stat.
Pretty cool stat.
Yeah, that's incredible.
you know.
But do
I
you
mean,
think there's pressure like that when you go undefeated for so long?
like you're saying, if they continue to
You
be
start strong
undefeated-
and poor?
I don't think the ending
Yeah,
four is
yeah.
going to happen.
Yeah, they start strong, they stay strong for sure. I want to shout out Natasha Cloud. Big week for her. Had the stop on Caitlin to win the game on May 24th. Slam cover on the 27th. And then I put this in bold. First career player of the week on the 28th.
I can't believe it's her first.
I was shocked
I
when I saw
couldn't believe
that.
it's her first
Yeah.
either because she's been in the league for so long and has played really well
Right.
on other teams.
Right.
So that shocked me.
But I think that I was shocked too, but I think it's like truly shows this might be one of the best moves that happened in the off seasons or in the off season. Her coming to the Liberty, I just think it's like already paid dividends for the Liberty, but also for Tosh.
Yeah, and I don't believe she's ever been an all-star. So I'm thinking that
That'd be sick.
this could be the year that she is a WNBA all-star. And honestly, you know, she's 33 years old, just turned 33, and playing some of her best basketball.
Women peak around this time.
Women peak, and I'm really happy for her.
100%.
And she looks happy.
Okay, thoughts on Sabrina Ionescu's celebrating winning a challenge while up by almost 50.
Oh, that was so much.
Did you like that?
It was hilarious because number one, they're up by so many points. So at this point, they're just having fun, and you could see
Right.
that they're having fun. I don't think it was to mock the other team at all, but
They were
to
like-
see. And Sabrina is, she's
Right.
kind of reserved. So to see her emotions and her happiness in that moment, I thought was really cool and ended up being a successful overturn.
Challenge. Yeah, true.
Well,
Yeah.
even the commentators were literally like, "We've never seen Inesco show this much like joy, like after a call." So
But
it was kind of
also
funny.
that call became a block as opposed to a 3-point attempt, which would have been free throw line for 3.
But again,
free
you are
throws.
up by 50, so like
No,
I don't
for
know if we
sure,
worry about
for
3
sure.
points.
But yeah, they were just having fun at one point, and you love to see it. They
Yeah,
have good
and-
chemistry. They like each other, this team.
No, for sure. I feel like that just speaks to like how culturally they are as a team right now. They're having a good time, and like you said, they were up by so much. So fun, like the fans almost needed some sort of like fun entertainment
That's true.
because the Sun weren't giving it.
I
But
feel like though, if I'm up by 50, I'm just taking the foul and heading out. Like it's all right.
I know.
I'm not challenging it.
Yeah, I was kind of like, ooh, is this? But I mean, again, sports are fun. She was having fun with it. Aces, back on track. I think they beat the Storm.
Who they
beat-
lost to by 20 points last week.
Right. So this is my question around the Aces. Storm, Aces, Sparks. They had the 3-way trade. We were kind of talking in the offseason who won this trade. Would we say Aces right now are the team that are coming out on front from the 3-way trade?
I think they would have come out on top though, regardless of the trades. Like
You think it wasn't consequential as to like what is happening
no,
now?
because I mean,
agree.
you kept Chelsea Gray, you kept Asia Wilson, you kept Jackie Young. Like
Right.
those 3 alone are
So-
3 or 5 starters.
So Ace's success don't really mean anything in terms of that trade. The Sparks or the Storm success will say or will kind of tell, did they make the right moves in that trade?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Another team that did they right the ship? Did they not? Chicago Sky. They got 2 wins against Dallas, back-to-back wins.
And you know
And
what?
this is your team, BJ.
This is my team, so
what
I'm
do you?
going to support my team, sponsored by Amazon Business.
Yeah,
and
let's
I'm
hear
going to
it.
promote them by promoting their new style of play.
Okay.
So, supporting my team. Angel Reese has had passing improvements after drawing multiple players to her. She's now crossing the ball across the court to other players, which we've seen work in those 2 wins against Dallas. She's averaging 2 steals per game, and this new play style has her on the wing and as a starting offensively on the perimeter. So they're doing a new play style,
Okay.
as in these last couple games, and I think it's working for them.
Okay. All right.
And so that's how I'm supporting my team, is supporting my girl, my Shayla.
So you
Angel Reese.
don't think it's just because they played Dallas who hasn't? played
I
really well?
think, yes, Dallas was helpful, but I think we're also seeing implements of new things. And I think they're going to, like in the NWSL, you need to pick up games where you can to
Right.
make it to playoffs.
So yeah, so them having these wins, implementing this new style of play against maybe a
Team you should
weaker
beat.
team,
Yes.
good for them. Get those wins under their belt,
Yeah.
and so they are riding the ship.
I think so. I don't think,
right.
I mean, I'm not going to say they're going to be the ones to upset the Liberty. I'm not saying that, but
I wouldn't say
saying-
that.
I'm saying maybe they'll have some games where they win now.
All right, fair
And
enough.
to help them, they've had Ariel Atkins, who's a veteran guard who had 17 and 26 in 2 of the last games. And Ariel has championship experience. She's won a championship. And she has that veteran leadership that I think Chicago needs, because Chicago is somewhat of a young team. And I think that you need a guard. You need somebody to help lead this team, especially like a floor general.
So she's the
agree.
captain of the ship.
I think so.
All right. Well, speaking of a team that is not raiding the ship, a Clarkless Fever have dropped 3 since she went out with injury. Was hoping to not see this happen, but it seems like they need to figure out how they want to play, who they're going to rely on with Clark being out.
I'm going to say a crazy take, but I think this is a good thing for them right now.
I don't think that's crazy, actually. I think that's a great point to make.
I think like you always want your star player to be in,
Right.
obviously, and they don't know how long she's going to be out. Hopefully it's quick, but I think I'm going to use Minnesota Lynx as an example. They played a couple weeks ago, 1 game without their star player, Nafisa Collier, and they still won. So I think right now they played against like decent competition. Honestly, they beat the Mercury. So I think right now with Clark being out, you have a long season ahead. And this is the time where you're going to see what works. Because I also think when she does come back, this will alleviate pressure on her.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't have to have a lights out game every game, because this will help other players step up.
But what I also
agree.
think has hurt them is that Sophie Cunningham got injured this weekend and Sydney Colson, who was the backup point guard. But they did sign Ari McDonald today as a point guard. So hopefully she will help, in Clark and Sydney's, I don't know how long Sydney will be out, but supposedly MRIs look decent, but they could be on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
And speaking of those injuries, they both, Cunningham and Colson, did walk off the court on their own. So I'm going to positively assume, I don't know, but positively assume that they'll be maybe hopefully.
And I was really actually happy that DeWanna Bonner scoring in double digits.
You did ask her to step up?
She was scoring
there
more.
you go.
She was shooting more. Her percentages were decent. So again, I just feel like this is an opportunity for all the other players to showcase their abilities. You have Aaliyah Boston, who's incredible. You have Lexi Hull. You have Natasha Howard. You have DeWanna Bonner. You do have talent on that team. So I do think that they can win some games, but it's not going to be easy.
Right.
Yeah, but I do think I wouldn't count them out of playoffs. I wouldn't count them out. Like, I think they're still going to have a good season.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
for
I
sure.
think they're still going to have a good
games in.
season.
Yeah.
And I think being Caitlin Clarkless right now is going to benefit them when she comes back in the long run.
1,000%.
I think that's actually a great take.
Thank you.
Good job.
Well, we'll see on YouTube comments.
We're moving over from the court to the diamond, from hoops to home runs, baby.
Love it.
Women's College World Series has been electric. You guys, I've never really paid close attention to it.
No, me neither.
I'm having a ball. It's been so fun to watch. I think what makes it so fun is the way that the bracket is set up, where it's double elimination, because it's like you're never really out until you're really out, until you've been double eliminated. But it makes it so interesting. So right now, I guess we're recording on Monday. We don't know what's about to happen today, but the semifinals are set. Texas Tech and Texas both have not lost. So they're playing, Texas Tech is playing Oklahoma. Texas is playing Tennessee. Tennessee and Oklahoma both have losses. So if Texas beats Tennessee and Texas Tech beats Oklahoma, they're straight into the final. But if either Oklahoma or Tennessee win their game, they have to play again to double eliminate the team that they're playing. Some fun things that have happened so far in the World Series. Okay, this UCLA not tagging home or touching home base on a home run.
Do you want to explain it?
Yeah, so basically what happened was they hit a home run. There was somebody on base, they were down 2-4. So with that home run, they tied up the game. But the person who hit the home run didn't tag home. All of her team was at home base to congratulate her for tying the game, and she missed it. She stepped over the base. She never touched the base, and then her teammates actually pulled her back, tagged up, and then she went into the dugout. So on the other side, Tennessee is like, yo, you can't count that run. They wanted to review it, and I guess the umpire said this isn't reviewable. It took 13 minutes to make that decision. But okay, I'm like, it's a home run.
Yeah.
So if she steps over the base, even if she was to go to the dugout, she could still come back. And unless she didn't hit it out of the park, but she did. Did she not?
A home run, though, when you're running the bases, that's just like a victory lap. Like, you don't really need to touch the bases.
Yeah, but you do, but like
you do, yes, but
yeah,
like,
not allegedly. The rules, you do have to. But I'm like,
but like a home run is a home. Like it's just a home run.
I don't disagree.
I think it would be different if the people who are already on base didn't touch the home plate or like they missed a base. Because those are the 2 points where I would be like, oh, I can argue. But like the girl who hit the home run didn't touch a base. It's like she hit a home run.
Yeah, she hit it out of the park. So I'm like, there's no tagging her up. Like, there's no like,
yeah, no.
I understand if you are running the base, you're trying to get a home run on a hit that
is in the field.
In the field.
Yeah.
Look at we're like in the diamond. In the park. But so I'm like, what?
No, I think I would argue it obviously if I'm the opposing team because I'm trying to get those points
100%.
back. But
I'd be flipping
13
out.
minutes, I'd be like, she hit a home run, y'all. Like,
Yeah,
I just solved it in a minute.
Let's keep it moving.
Let's keep it pushing.
I know, but the other thing is she like steps over home plate and then very quickly her teammates like, no, go tags up. But apparently if you don't do it in the moment, it like technically doesn't count.
Oh, that's annoying.
I know, but
That's
So I'm like, so
wild.
did the umpires make the right decision?
I think so.
BJ's like 13 minutes is not.
Also, though, I'm
worth-
like, girl, why you pointed out on UCLA? That's so dramatic. Like, no one would have noticed. Like,
you think you don't.
I think if she just went about her business,
Nobody
went
would
to
have
the-
known.
no
I
one
know it
would've
was
known.
interesting because the
It's
team
like
was
her
like
going back to the
surrounding her.
dugout, running back, and being like,
Well, she didn't go back.
like that's where we're drawing attention for real.
Anyway, it was very interesting. That was drama. Another great play that happened in the World Series is Texas Tech pinch runner Michaela Garcia stole home on UCLA.
Oh, this was so badass.
This was amazing.
Yeah.
So hitter's up and she's on third and the pitcher throws the ball. UCLA catcher catches the ball. She's literally, the ball has left her hand and the girl Michaela's already started running, slides home, right? But what's the best part about this play is that the hitter for Texas Tech clearly is blocking the catcher's view. Like this was planned.
Yeah.
Once that girl got on third, at least this is what I'm assuming with my very limited softball knowledge, the catcher couldn't do anything about it because the ball had already left her hand.
Yep.
And I mean, great freaking play by Texas Tech. That was probably my favorite of the weekend.
Same.
Moving on to from the diamond to the track, and what was blowing up in our group chat, I'm going to talk about some Grand Slam because the track Grand Slam was this weekend. So I'm just going to read some stats.
Let's hear it.
Anna Cockrell won the 400-meter hurdles, setting a record at that track with the time of 54:04. She was the Olympic silver medalist last summer.
Sorry, 400 hurdles.
Yeah,
54:04. That's crazy.
crazy fast.
Could you run around a track without hurdles in 54 seconds? Because
Me personally?
Yeah.
I used to.
Oh wow.
I could
Jesus.
not.
But I couldn't do it with hurdles.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years in my prime.
Oh man.
Melissa Jefferson Wooden ran a personal best in the 201 with a time of 21:99, and now she is a three-peat slam champ. And she beat Gabby Thomas, who is the Olympic gold medalist, and this was Gabby Thomas's first loss in the 200 since the Olympics. She came in second, so she still had a good race. But I also am shouting out Gabby Thomas because she posted and was just like, I'm not satisfied. I'm not happy with this, but it's okay to she had a nice TikTok. It was okay to linger in this moment, be upset. And that's that, which I thought was a cool moment. And then she also posted and was like, I am running faster now than I have at any point in the season. So while I'm not satisfied, I'm still on track for myself, which I thought was a nice shout to her.
Great mentality by
Yeah,
her.
exactly.
Yeah.
And another shout to her is after her race ended, which again, 20 something seconds, she stayed on the track for past an hour after event, taking photos with fans, which I thought was a really good thing and really cool thing to grow the sport.
She's a woman of the people.
Yeah,
With a
she
people's
is.
princess for real, for real.
For real.
And then moving on to Sydney McLaughlin, she ran in her first 100-meter race for the first time in her career ever. She ran the open sprint and the hurdles.
Okay.
She didn't win, but the commentators were talking about it, and she ran really fast for, being a long mid-distance sprinter. She got second. So, I mean, she was still competitive. And the lead between second and third was pretty vast, in my opinion.
Yeah. Will we see her in multiple different distances for LA 2028? Is that maybe?
I mean,
what we're
look
doing
at her.
here?
She performed.
Yeah, I think a lot of
So-
people after this last Olympics were like, we want to see her in more events because she is so good.
Yeah.
And fun to watch.
And so I think it's pretty notable to be this far in your career and be like, I'm going to do something
Yeah.
new. And know, I'm not guaranteed to win this.
Yeah,
but
for sure. And
still go
okay with
out.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay with
yeah.
that. And she was very okay with it going into it. And a lot of interviews were like, people expect you to win when you get into the track. And she's like, that's not true.
Yeah.
You're going to see it this weekend.
Yeah.
But still put up a good fight, obviously. And then last but not least, Anna Hall scored 7,032 points in the heptathlon this weekend, which moved her to second spot overall for the world record with the most points.
Wow.
So,
Dang.
Very cool.
Dude, Grand Slam, track Grand Slam is sick. I love
It's
this
sick.
new concept.
No, it's really sick.
Yeah.
Also sick just because I feel like track doesn't get enough love, and everyone loves it during the Olympics, but
For
then
sure.
it just kind of goes under the radar a little
No,
bit.
it's a great way for all of us to stay connected to it and be able to watch these athletes compete.
Moving on to another sport we don't normally talk about is the French Open that's going on right now, aka Roland Garros.
Wow. Are you
Thank
bilingual?
I'm bilingual.
Oh, I didn't know
suddenly.
that.
Well, not really, because I'm about to butcher all these names I'm about to say,
Okay.
but I'm going to read some fun facts from that. Okay, so the number one ranked woman, Irina Sablenka, has entered her 10th straight Grand Slam quarterfinals. I'm going to really butcher this. Kenwen Zhang, sorry in advance, became the second Chinese player in the Open to reach the women's single quarterfinals. The last one was in 2011, which I thought was really cool. And as of this morning, Monday, June 2nd, the American girls that are still in are Madison Keys and Coco Gauff, who are advancing and will play each other next round as Coco advanced past round 4 this morning at 5 a.m.
Listen, I love that our American girls are advancing. Hate that they have to play each other.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like there should be a rule that if it's the same nationality in like quarters, semis, or final, or not, well, finals, you can't do anything about it. But round of 16, quarters, and semis, you have to change it up. You don't have them play each other, so we can root for.
But honestly, it would be like, because they train together more often than not, right?
I don't know if they're training partners.
Because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of interesting because in my mind, the Americans have a specific tennis style. The Europeans have a specific tennis.
Yeah, you do want to see. At the end of the day, you got to figure out like who's the best American.
Right.
Right.
And right now, I think that is Coco, ranking wise.
Is it?
I think
Coco's
so.
ranked number 2
Two?
right now in
Oh,
singles.
amazing.
But Coco is also the youngest player to reach 5 women's singles quarterfinals at a single Grand Slam event since Venus Williams, which I think is really cool.
Hell
That
yeah.
is really cool.
At 21 years and 73 days old.
Wow.
Dang, crazy. Well,
crazy.
hopefully Coco doesn't forget her rackets again.
Seriously.
You guys, I was cracking up when I saw.
It's
that on
relatable.
social- It is so relatable, but also like, where were they?
No.
Also,
Do we
like,
need a packing list?
So funny. And the reason I love it so much is because my nightmare to this day isn't like not studying for an exam. It is forgetting my cleats. Like I still have that nightmare that I forgot my cleats. I either can't get them on or I forgot them entirely and I can't get into the game, can't get subbed in, can't get out of the locker room, whatever it is. But it is truly my nightmare in reality and in my dreams.
No, that's real. Even when I play basketball on the weekends, I probably check my bag 3 times before I leave to make sure that the sneakers are there.
Right.
Even though I know I put them in there, but I
Yeah.
need to triple check.
Yeah. Crazy.
So I get it.
But moving into sports are fun. Grady, you had some fun things.
Yes, we
come
do
up.
have some really fun things. The MLB is making a very big investment into Athletes Unlimited Softball League, which is the first investment that the MLB has made into women's sports. And I mean, I think it's going to be pretty huge to have the MLB's backing.
Yeah.
And I think that softball, as we have been talking about, is exciting, has been exciting. So to finally see some more investment is only going to grow the
Yeah, for
sport
sure.
and the league.
Yeah, I think seeing how successful the Women's College World Series is, it's like it would be awesome to be able to have access and to be able to watch this type of entertainment year round. So I think it's great to hear that MLB is getting involved with Athletes Unlimited and their softball division, and maybe we'll be getting more softball in our days, more home runs, more walk-offs, more steals.
Or base touches.
There you go, more base touches, more celebrations, more cheers.
And we did also talk about track being a sport that is growing, and we want to see them, compete more throughout the year. So Athlos has announced that they are, in 2026, bringing a league to their competition, which I think is awesome. So, I mean, I don't know how it's going to work with different players teaming up, but they have identified Sha'Carri Richardson, Gabby Thomas, and Tara Davis Woodhall, who will serve as advisor owners, which I love because I do want to see more athletes become owners, as they are the folks that, really helped grow the sport
For sure.
to where it is now. And I think that Athlos, which is backed by Serena Williams' husband, Alexis,
Yep.
is doing a great job in that and making sure that these athletes are paid, because they've had the largest purse in, believe, track history. Last year, they did Athlos for the first time in New York City. I was there, which was really cool. And I think they're just trying to grow it out. It's been successful. So it's like, okay, how can we continue to build momentum and continue to invest in these women athletes and to have them as owners too, I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it is set up, because it's kind of, my understanding and just like the limited information that we have about it right now is like it's a league, and then there's going to be teams potentially, which we've never really seen in track before, besides like Team USA at an Olympics.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool to see how creating an event in track differently than we've ever seen it before, based on individuals and now a team, how like that can grow the sport by thinking about it differently, setting it up differently, and like giving the player or like the fan experience a different option than what we typically see.
Yeah, and that's my biggest question. How are you going to make these teams?
Right.
Is it going to be by country, which I think could be really cool?
Yeah.
Or is it not?
Right. Is it like
Which scramble. I have no idea. But
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, it's similar to the thought about or how Unrivaled did it. You know, you bring the top athletes or the top players into one space, put them, shake up who they play with, and you get to, we got to choose.
Like that too.
Yeah, we got to choose. I got to choose an Unrivaled team. Just based off of I kind of picked it off the jersey, but and some of the players. But it's fun. It's like what makes it interesting, and it contributes to a different fan experience than we've had before.
Yeah,
cool.
no, it is cool. I'm really excited for this. Actually.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Almost forgetting.
What?
But we talked about this week. Midge Purse walking in her Sports Illustrated
Oh my God,
swimsuit show.
I didn't. Wait,
didn't see?
she walked in the show?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see this.
Yeah, she walked in the show. I would just like to say Midge Purse goes to the school of Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe. I think she's so cool and good at growing the sport.
Yeah,
Like-
100%.
Oh, and speaking of legends.
Oh, yeah.
Candace Parker is going to have her jersey retired in Chicago, which is where she's from.
Yeah, I know.
And it will be her second jersey retirement this summer. She's having the first one in LA, where she played the majority of her career. And then she's having her second one in Chicago with the Chicago Sky, which I think is awesome. And I also think it's interesting who they're playing during those games.
Ooh.
So the Sparks are going to be playing the Sky when she has her jersey
was
retired.
that's kind of
And
funny.
then in August, when she has her jersey retired, Chicago is going to be playing the Aces, which she won a championship with all three teams.
Wow.
Wait, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
That is kind of cool.
Really,
That's
really
kinda
cool.
nice.
It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
No, I love that Chicago is retiring her jersey because that's where she grew up. She obviously spent majority of her career with the Sparks, but she won a championship. I think Chicago's first championship, potentially.
Yes.
Yeah. By going back home and winning that with them, and I think she was only there for 2 seasons, but still, she made such an impact on
Yeah.
on that team, but also just representing Chicago in general. And she's a fucking legend. So as she is well deserving of
Yeah,
those.
and I don't think there's any player in the league or who played in the league who has
Two?
two jersey
That is
retirements.
But to be
Pretty
honest,
nice.
that
So cool.
that is Candace Parker is that level of
She is generational.
Yeah,
She's,
exactly.
once in a lifetime. And I think how lucky were we to have witnessed her greatness.
Oh my God, yeah, I know. Sometimes I'm like, God, I wish we could just have them. Could they just could we rewind the clock and
Right?
watch it again? But thankfully we have a lot of fun stars and
Absolutely.
young stars to watch now. All right, well, that's it for this week. We got some big games and events to look forward to coming up in this coming week. We got NBCL is back playing San Diego versus Seattle on Friday, Gotham versus Kansas City on Saturday, Orlando versus Houston on Saturday, and Washington versus North Carolina on Sunday. WNBA, Mystics versus Fever Tuesday, Mercury versus Lynx rematch Tuesday, Liberty versus Mystics Thursday, Fever versus Sky Saturday. And then obviously we're going to get the World Series champion by Friday. The finals are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we will find out if Boomer Sooner can repeat for a 5th time. French Open women's singles final is Saturday and women's doubles final is Sunday. So we got a big week ahead. As we always say, sports are fun. Keep tuning in. Keep having fun with it. Cheer your team on. Get weird. Get crazy. Thanks for tuning in. Love you guys.
Bye. Bye.